All right, ready to dive deep into the world of HVAC.
Let's do it.
This time, it's all about thermostats. You clearly sent a ton of info over on this one.
You're really aiming for that peak home comfort and energy efficiency.
Absolutely. Let's get into it.
Well, understanding how your thermostat works is like the first step to hitting that sweet spot of comfort and energy savings. Think of it as like the control center for your home's temperature.
Right. But it's more than just a box on the wall, right?
Way more to it. It's the brain directing your whole heating and cooling system, constantly reading the temp and then, boom, activating either your furnace or AC to keep things just how you like them.
Okay, so first things first. How do I even know what kind of system I have? I mean, I certainly didn't install it.
Good
Hold
point.
on.
Time for a little detective work. So most homes, especially newer ones, use what's called a low voltage system.
Low volt.
Yeah, usually around 24 volts. It's for like your typical forced air heating and cooling setup. If you peek behind your current thermostat and see kind of thin wires going in and out, that's a good sign you're working with low voltage.
Okay, so far so good. I think mine has those thin wires.
Probably low voltage then.
Yeah.
But older homes, or those with, say, electric baseboard heating or boilers, those might be running on line voltage, which is the higher voltage stuff.
Okay, and line voltage is like,
Usually 120 or 240 volts. You'll notice thicker wires, and sometimes it's even connected straight to a circuit breaker.
gotcha. Different systems, different thermostats. You sent over some material on mechanical and digital types. What's the difference?
Well, they both control the flow of heating and cooling, but it's how they do it that sets them apart.
Okay, how so?
Take mechanical thermostats, especially those old mercury ones. They rely on this physical expansion and contraction thing to trigger the switch, like those old school thermometers.
I get it. Not exactly known for being super precise, though, are they? Not really. Plus, there's the whole mercury thing, not exactly environmentally friendly. That's where digital thermostats really win out.
Digital is the way to go then.
For accuracy and efficiency, definitely. They use electronic sensors, so they're way better at fine-tuning the temperature, which means less waste and potentially lower energy bills.
Music to my ears. So digital equals potential savings.
Bingo. And hold on, it gets even better. Let's talk about programmable digital thermostats.
Ooh, programmable. Sounds fancy.
They are. Instead of manually changing the temperature all day, you can program specific settings for different times.
Wait, so I can have it automatically adjust based on, say, my work schedule?
Exactly. You like it cool at night, but no need to waste energy cooling an empty house during the day, right? A programmable thermostat can bump the temp up while you're at work and then cool it down right before you get home.
That's amazing. What about those super high-tech thermostats? The ones that practically run your whole house?
Ah, you mean communicating or smart thermostats?
Yeah, those. They seem pretty next level. They're changing the game, that's for sure. They can be programmed, sure, but they can also, like, learn your habits over time, connect to your phone for remote control.
No way.
Yeah, and some even sync up with other smart home devices you have.
Wow, so we're talking humidity control, air circulation. I even saw something about multi-stage heating and cooling. What is that?
It's all about that efficiency and comfort combo. Multi-stage systems, those are cool because they let your system run at different power levels. Think of it like driving a car. You don't always need to be floored on the gas pedal. Right. Same idea here.
So it can fine-tune the output.
Exactly. Less energy used,
Yeah.
but you still stay comfortable.
Smart. I bet that translates to some nice energy savings.
Absolutely. And speaking of maximizing efficiency, where you put your thermostat can actually make a huge difference in how well it works. Did you know that?
So it's all about location, 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 even for thermostats.
Exactly. Like prime real estate for your thermostat.
Tell me more about this ideal placement.
You want it in a spot where it gets a good read on your home's overall temperature.
Okay, makes sense.
So think interior wall, about 5 feet high, central location.
So no more hiding it behind that giant houseplant of mine.
Nope. Those little microclimates can really mess things up. Makes your system work harder than it needs to. And speaking of working, you've been looking into thermostat replacement too, right?
I have, especially with the potential for saving money. Who wouldn't? But I figured there's got to be more to it than just buying a new one, right?
Oh, for sure. Biggest mistake people make is getting the wrong type for their system. Like trying to sit a square peg in a round hole. It's just not going to work.
Yikes. So how do I avoid that? How do I know I'm picking the right one for my system?
You got to understand your current setup. First things first, what kind of heating and cooling system do you have? Furnace, boiler, heat pump, something else entirely.
Okay, so that's step one. And I'm guessing I can find that info where?
Usually pretty easy to find. Check the furnace or boiler unit itself, labels near your thermostat, maybe even your home inspection report if you've got it.
System type, check. What's next?
Now we got to figure out how many stages of heating and cooling your system has.
Stages.
Yeah, basically how many levels of intensity it can run at. Single stage is either on or off, but a two-stage system can run a bit slower for more consistent comfort and better efficiency. You can usually tell by looking at your current thermostat.
Okay, what am I looking for exactly?
See if you can spot terminals labeled Y1 and Y2 for cooling and W1 and W2 for heating. If you see those extras, you've got a two-stage system.
All right, I'll have to check that out. Anything else?
One more big one, figuring out your thermostat's power source.
Power source. Isn't it all just, plugged into the wall?
Some are, but others are actually battery-powered.
Oh, I did not know that. How can I tell which one I've got?
Take a peek at your thermostat. See if you can find a terminal labeled C.
C4.
Just C. If you see a wire hooked up to it, you're good to go with either a system-powered or battery-powered replacement. No C wire means you'll need a battery-operated one. And if you're replacing an old mercury thermostat, it's generally best to go with battery-powered.
Good to know. Okay, so once I've got all that figured out, can I finally start shopping for my new thermostat?
Almost. One last pro tip. Think about getting a dual-powered thermostat. Gives you that flexibility of system or battery power.
Best of both worlds. Love that. Okay, now let's get down to the actual installation. I've got the new thermostat. I'm staring at the wall where the old one used to be.
Feeling a little intimidated by all those wires?
Maybe just a little. Where do I even begin? Okay, before we get to the actual installing part, I noticed you included some info on thermostat ratings from, get this, HvacRepairGuy.
Yeah, those ratings.
Sounds like a superhero or something.
Right. Sounds like they know what they're talking about, though.
So any brands stand out from the pack?
Well, they've got a pretty simple system. Green for go, yellow for proceed with caution, and red for avoid.
Easy enough. Okay, so who's in the green zone? Top of the class?
You've got Aries, AirQuest, Amana. Even Amazon got a nod.
Amazon makes thermostats.
They do, though their warranty might not be as good as some dealer-installed options.
Good to know. So, mix of familiar names and a few surprises. What about yellow category? Anything for the budget-conscious buyer?
Definitely. Bosch, Bryant, Carrier, those all got mentioned for a good balance of quality and value.
All right, bargain hunters, take note. Now, for the moment of truth, any red flags we should know about?
Again, it's just one expert's opinion.
Oh, of course, of course.
But Bestecky, Black Plus Decker, and Control 4 all ended up in the red zone for different reasons. Always good to do your own research too, but those are some starting points at least.
For sure. Okay, back to installation. I'm still a little nervous if I'm being honest.
Don't be. Easier than you think. Just remember, safety first.
Always.
Turn off the power to your HVAC system before messing with any wires. You'll find the circuit breaker in your electrical panel. Once the power's off, grab a pen and paper. Gotta make some notes.
Notes?
Like what? Write down which wire is hooked up to which terminal on your old thermostat.
Ah, so I don't mix them up when I'm installing the new one.
Exactly. Especially if you have multiple wires that are the same color.
Yeah.
Then, once you've got your notes, you can start disconnecting the wires from the old thermostat and take it off the wall.
Okay, so far so good. Then comes the moment of truth, hooking up the new one.
It's really not that bad, promise. Use those notes you made to connect each wire to the right terminal on the new thermostat. They usually have labels that make it pretty clear.
Music to my ears. Wires are all connected. What's next?
You'll secure the new thermostat to the base plate. Usually just snaps or screws into place. Then, and this is important, don't forget to seal up that wire hole in the wall.
Why is that? Seems like a small thing.
You'd be surprised. Even a tiny draft can really mess with your thermostat's accuracy and make your system work way harder than it needs to.
So how do I seal it up?
A little bit of silicone sealant or putty. Works like a charm. Just avoid getting any on the terminals themselves.
Got it. Okay, hole is sealed. Anything else?
Just flip that power back on and you should be good to go. You might need to do some final setup or programming. Check the instructions that came with your new thermostat for that. But other than that, get ready for that perfectly climate-controlled home.
And hopefully a lower energy bill, right?
Fingers crossed.
Well, that was a deep dive. We covered everything from thermostat basics to replacing them, and even touched on those futuristic smart home setups.
The future is now.
It really is. But as you continue to explore the world of HVAC, here's something to think about. How can we use all this knowledge about thermostats, energy efficiency, all of it, to make more sustainable homes? Not just for ourselves, but for everyone.
Now that's something to think about.
It really is. And on that note, until next time, keep those thermostats happy.